Introduce yourself. And also here in the corner. All right. So thank you for coming this evening.
Hi. So I'm going to start things off, and I have a few handouts. One of the things that we talked about when we were first planning this program this evening was something that occurred just a few days before we met. And that was the disintegration of an asteroid that was detected before it hit the Earth in early June. And that so I have some things to hand out that you can look over about that. It was called, at the moment, when it was detected, it was called 2018 for the year LA, and that's just a sequential indication of asteroids as they're discovered during the year. It was discovered on June 3rd, by Richard Kowalski at the Catalina Observatory just north of Tucson. And within about 8 hours, he realized that it was on a very short orbit and would soon impact the Earth. And he forwarded his observations to the Minor Planet Center in Cambridge, Mass. And then they forwarded it to JPL. And within a few hours, a bunch of people had verified that yes, this was a small asteroid on an impact course with the Earth. And then just 6 or 7 hours later, there was a flash observed in southern Africa, in Botswana. Peter Jenniskens, who is an astronomer from Western Canada, somewhere Alberta, I believe, somewhere up north, and an intrepid hunter of asteroid fragments, got on a plane to Botswana, hooked up with some local scientists at Botswana University, and 4 or 5 of them traipsed through a snake and lion infested thicket and eventually recovered some pieces of the asteroid, and there's a picture on this. It took them until June 23rd, so roughly 3 weeks before they started to recover some of these, and I think he might be still there because the press release about it just came out 3 days ago on July 6th. So I think they're still looking for other fragments of it. The one that they found, you'll see in this handout is quite small, and they're hoping that there will be lots more. So I'm going to pass these around, and you can have a look at it. For several years, I've been interested in asteroid impacts on Earth and other planets, and as Francesca knows, did a whole bunch of simulations just a few years ago in 3D of asteroids impacting into water, and I've been part of a team here at Los Alamos that's been investigating ways of defending the Earth or mitigating asteroid impacts. So that's kind of the background to it. And one thing that we do is we try to keep up with all of the missions that NASA and other international space agencies have going to asteroids to pick up fragments or to otherwise investigate their properties. So just in the news the other day is the fact that Hayabusa 2, the Japanese satellite, has just arrived at its target, the asteroid Ryugu, which is an 800-meter diameter asteroid, and they're going to this Hayabusa 2 is going to do a variety of things while it's in the vicinity of Ryugu, making all kinds of measurements and so forth. But it's also going to send a little lander down to the surface to investigate its properties further, its material properties. And then it will have 2 different kinds of sample excavators, and eventually hope to bring those samples back to Earth in 2022, I believe it is. The other one, so this is Ryugu, which is an 800-meter asteroid. It's potentially hazardous. I don't know of any potential encounters with the Earth over the next 200 years or so. The other one that we're keeping track of is NASA's spacecraft called OSIRIS-REx, which is on its way to the asteroid Bennu, a slightly smaller asteroid, 500 meters in diameter, not 8, Ryugu is 800. Slightly smaller asteroid, but this one does have some potential impacts in the late 22nd century, so starting 2179 up through running 199 or something like that. None of us in this room will be around then, I expect, unless you have very special genes. But it's something that the whole of mankind needs to be keeping aware of and so forth. So here a handout about the Hayabusa mission, and then also what I've printed out here is a table of all of the recent close encounters of asteroids with the Earth since the beginning of June. The 2018 LA is marked there with an asterisk because it no longer exists, having impacted the Earth. But there's one coming up. 2018 NM will fly within 1.4 lunar distances of the Earth on the 17th of July. All the others on this table have already gone, but some of them are quite small. Well, most of them are quite small. The biggest one on here is 110 meters, which is significant. I mean, you'd really worry about that one hitting. But a lot of them are quite small, and a few of them have come quite close to the Earth, like 3/10 of the lunar radius from us. So we'll pass these out too. The last thing that I want to, as part of a show and tell here, is this rock. I don't know how much you can see from there, so I'll pass it around. But it's actually a very beautiful rock, there, if you can see, there's this part down here which is white, kind of speckled, and this part up here which is mostly black with bits of white and other colors in it. This is a breccia, an impact breccia. It's a rock that's formed when a meteor impacts the Earth. This one I found in Norway at the Gardenos crater, about an hour and a half north of Oslo. The white down here is the country rock. It slammed into granite mountains, and that's that white here. And when it broke up a lot of stuff, and it melted a lot of stuff. So the black is the melted rock,